raining a fair bit. I think they call this a rain bomb, but I'm not sure where that came from. Everyone says, oh, it's a rain bomb, it's a rain bomb. Yeah, a lot of rain. Yeah, a lot of fun. Bubble, I'd be very, very wary of the skink there. Now I know what causes the dead patch on the grass. It's Fluffy doing what Fluffy does best. Grass hasn't grown there for years, and she's the reason why. Fluffy, you gotta stop using the same spot. It's completely yellow. That's just crazy, Fluffy. Completely crazy. That's her spot. Who needs Roundup? It looks like Fluffy's urine is the ultimate grass and weed killer. If I could bottle that, I could make $1 million from Fluffy's piss. Well, Fluffy's just enjoying a bit of sun. It looks like Bubbles found her spot in the garden. Oh my crikeys. What are you doing, Bubble? What are you up to? Hey, not much? Good girl. Uh-oh. And of course Teddy's come over to have a play as well. What are you guys doing in the garden? Anything they want would be the reply. What is she doing? Oh, hello. Cats are crazy. They just do some of the strangest things. She's like dug a little hole there. I can only imagine what's going to come next. Okay. I think I know that position. She's learnt that position from Fluffy. But when Fluffy does it, she strips the place of grass. Good girl, Bubble. We'll let you be. We can't watch you doing your toilet all the time. It'd be too much for this video site to deal with. Good girl. She's actually cleaning up in a very cat way. Good girl. Very good girl. And Teddy's potentially going to jump on you if you're not careful. This seems to be one of the constants that I see going on. Okay, Teddy, what have you got here? What have you got? What's this here? That bit of rubbish toy, is it? I don't think that's the best thing to play with. I might go and put that in the bin. What do you think? Or do you want to play? It's got to go, Teddy. Sorry. Good boy. While I'm out here, I'll take a look at the spider lure, and I've got Bubble here helping me. I'll get rid of some of Mummy's plants first. Just break a little bit away. Oops. Sorry, Mummy. That's more than a little bit. Well, we'll just hide that, won't we? Crikeys. Okay, let's have a geezer in here. Well, there's a snail living in there. Oh, crikeys, it looks remarkably clean. Very curious. I better hide that evidence real fast. This is a more famous spider lure. They're starting to show their age. They've been in the garden now for a couple of years. Let's take a look what's going on in here. Always being a little bit careful when I open it up. I can see what would have been the remnants of snails. Of course, Teddy's inquisitive here. Teddy's here with me. Thank you, Teddy. He's now going to want to probably sit in that. Let's take a look inside here. You going to help me, Teddy? You're going to hinder me. It looks clean. I can see some histrionic web in there, but I can't see a spider. I think it's going to be the same across every spider lure that I've got. This area here at the front of our house was the place last spider season where I had the very sneaky pipe spider living amongst the pipes. It's now turned into Little Cat's grave because Little Cat loved to sit out here watching the cars go by. Well, I remember pipe spider was quite amazing because it was up against the families of skinks that were very keen to have a snap at Mrs. Redback. But the pipes have moved, and from what I can see, this area where the pipes now live looks fairly clean. The pipes have only been here for a short period of time because Little Cat passed away not that long ago. I can see some web here, but this isn't redback spider web. That's something totally different. If there was a redback spider here, I'd be seeing web presenting at the front here and all the telltale signs that redback spiders do. I'm curious to see who's living here. I bet you there's going to be snails. I've just got that very strong hunch. Okay, I can see snails here already. Always being careful. Where I live, you're always careful when you lift things up because you never know what you're going to find. You learn that as a child in Australia. Always look underneath something before you properly play with it. That looks like it's a snail zone. I'm down to the bottom layer now. Yeah, okay. Absolute confirmation we are dealing with snail territory, and I will be nice to the snails. Oops, I think I just crushed him or her because I got no idea how to sex a snail. Oops. I'll put all this back because I suppose snails are our friends, aren't they? I know Mummy would not agree with me on that one. Has me thinking, can redback spiders coexist with snails? That's a really big query for this video. I've just moved to the backyard and you can see how lush the grass is. We've had an extremely wet year. I think it's been a record wet year. We've come out of winter and this would be the time that the spideroonies would be playing games. Let's take a look at these two lures here. It's a windy afternoon. It's the 28th of October to give you a date, and I'll try and upload this as soon as I can. It looks pretty clean. There's some old web in there. I'll tell you what, I can't see any web under here. If there was a spider that I'd like to catch, which would be redback, there would be web underneath. We'll take a look at the little one here alongside. It's a snail home. Snails, these have just become like snail breeders. If you want to breed snails, set things like this up in your garden. This was the area where all the black tubs were. They had lots of spiders. Mummy completely redid this area, finally. We'd spoken about that for years and it finally happened. Teddy's going to come and play torment with me. Let's take a look at this spider lure. Well, I can see no web underneath. And that would sort of tell me potentially there's no spideroonies inside. I can see very small, almost historical web in here. I'm just looking around for a spider. I'll be quite honest here. I can't see it. I'll even put my hand down there and just scrape out what's in here. It's really, really small, very fine, like nothing web. Yeah. That's starting to paint a picture, isn't it? Fluffy's down here now because she's inquisitive whenever I'm looking around the garden. Of course, Fluffy has to follow and the kittens are going to torment her. There's one more lure I'll take a look at. I really think the wet weather we've had, and it's been a chronically wet year, that is of 2022, has played havoc with the spiders. I'll take a look at this lure here. I've got no idea what Mummy's cooking up in this, but there's a lot of little bugs in that. Yuck. Normally, this sort of pot would be a nice lure for spiders, and Teddy just flashed through there. Okay, another well-established lure starting to show its age. Very carefully lift up the lid. I can see what snails have been doing there. I can't see any spider action. There's a snail here. I'll just carefully grab the snail and we'll just gently give it a new home. It can live happily over there. And if we take a look inside this lure, it just looks like it's been the domain of snails. These have just become snail breeders. I think there's a grander cycle here going on, and I need to sit down at my desk and draw a chart to explain it to you. Got said he's wanted to fish by again. Yeah, okay, I've seen enough. This area here under the lemon tree in the backyard has been a place for redbacks. I've got the monkey tool here. I'll do a couple of quick scrapes. The first thing I'll say, I can't see any web here, but you never know what the monkey tool will reveal for us. Looks pretty clean if you ask me. I'll just do this side again. Not doing any cheating. That looks clean. Teddy's here, trying to help in the strangest way. He hasn't found a frog yet. There's been heaps of frogs. Heaps of frogs. Okay, Okay, I'll go up here. Yes, there's definitely a complete change of dynamic going on. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Hang on. Whoa, 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 whoa. What do we got? Whoa, okay. That's on the move. That spider right there. Okay, it's quite a fast moving thing, and if I give it a tease, wow, okay, it's gone. And curiously, I've got an egg sac here. If I get it into my hand, you'll get some sort of scale. Wow. I'm just a bit stuck in identifying this. I don't believe it's a redback. It doesn't have the complete sphere and colour. That's just weird. It's quite large actually as well. The spider experts will tell me more than I would know. That spider that darted out, was it connected to this egg sac here? That's the $1,000,000 question, isn't it? I'll just do a couple more scrapes here just to see what comes out of something black with a red back on it, which I don't think is around here because I didn't see the telltale webs. Nah. I've just opened up that egg sac and that looks very strange in colour. Whatever is in there is not very well developed, and what I'll do is I'll put that down on the ground and the ants will enjoy that as a feast. Always got to look after our little ant friends, don't we? I've just moved up and between two more tubs. I'll quickly give these a scrape. See who I'm going to pull out of here. That's clean. That's also clean. One last one here. Again, I'm not seeing any telltale signs of the web that would tell me there's something nasty here. A snail went flying just then. That looks pretty clean. And going up the other side. Okay, it looks clean as well. Let's do one more. Just a double check. No, looks clean to me, totally clean. I'll look up between these three tubs. Last place I'm going to look at. Okay, I'll do the white side first. It's funny, when it's clean, it actually, you can feel it. I can feel it going through nicely. Oh, a snail went flying, so it's home of the snails. I'm getting no web there. It looks clear. I'll gently find Mr. and Mrs. Snail a new home, somewhere over there. Clunk. I go up between these two. This will be the last. Oh, God, I can hear things falling and God knows what the hell. I think I've just come across Snailsville. Oh my God, they're just... Yeah, I'll tell you what I found here and I'll drag them all out. Look at this. Land of the snails. I reckon there's 10,000 snails up here. Look at that. Oh my goodness me. And guess what? You can't eat any of these snails. It's amazing and maybe indicative of the sort of year we've had. I've never seen so many snails. Because I know where these guys and girls live, I will just gently put them back where they belong. I'm sure they'll sort themselves out. They're like that, snails. They're quite good at finding the right place to reside. Okay, all back home and hosed. There you go, I'll put back as it was before we get anyone getting cranky at me. The snails are back in their home. Thank God for that. Okay, I've got a bit of a bonus for this video in the grass. There's a friend of the garden, and I dare say it's also something that would clean up a fair few redbacks if it ever had the chance. It's a blue-tongued skink, and I don't think the kittens have come across one of these yet. I've actually got Bubble right here next to me. Bubble, I would be very, very wary of the skink there. Unfortunately, I've seen cats take out the skinks when they're very young because they're small and defenseless, but that big blue tongue would give you a nasty nip. I would get away. Good girl. When these skinks feel threatened, they'll do big breathing, they'll make strange hissing sounds. I'm curious whether this is a male or female. I'm going to try and pick this one up. I've just moved around to this side. Bubble, I would steer well clear, please. It would not be a good outcome if you get too close to the skink. The trick to getting these is to come in behind the head and move fast like this. They're really strong. They've got a beautiful blue tongue. Wow. it's a stunner. Man, they are very strong. No bubble, keep clear, please. And I'll take a look up the back end here. It's trying to curl around my arm. Extremely strong. Let's see if it's a boy or a girl. I've got to head up to this end. I just swapped over to another hand. It's got a really strong hold of me. It's doing its best to try to wriggle out of my grip. It is just a stunning creature, but you got to be really careful because they can give you a very nasty bite. I tell you what, you get a bite from one of these, you certainly wake up very fast. Okay, up the back end here, I believe we're dealing with a little, I think it's a little girl. But if I'm wrong, I'm going to be crucified, aren't I? Yeah. I don't think it's full size yet. I'll tell you what, it's an absolute stunner. It's actually starting to settle down a bit. Someone said to me, if you roll them on their back, they get paralyzed. Well, you know what? They're actually right. It's not putting up. It's, yeah. The things you learn on YouTube, hey, and it's absolutely correct. It's not moving at all if I do that. It's gone completely limp. There's a better look at the rear end, although its little black back claws are trying to cover up. I'm pretty sure it's a girl. Then again, I wouldn't really know, but I do like the trick that if you roll them onto their backs, they become nice and calm. But if you spin them the other way, watch out. This thing is like a wicked dinosaur with immense strength, especially around the neck area. Incredibly strong critters, beautiful, and we will find a spot away from the cats to let this girl go. They're just so nice to feel. They just look beautiful as well, and usually when they're on the ground, oh, there's a better look at the back end. Yeah, I think we're dealing with a girl. When they're on the ground, and let's say not in the grass, they're actually really well camouflaged. So that color there looks just like the earth. Whoa, actually is a stunner. Look at that tongue. And that's why they're called blue tongues. A lot of people say blue tongue lizard, but they're actually a skink. Totally stunning. And strangely, this is the sort of thing you see this time of year, and this would be a redback hunter. Absolutely, for sure. I'll just put the skink down here. I'm pretty sure Teddy understands not to go near these critters. I think they would really give the cats a challenge. And it's been, no, Teddy, nope. N-O for you. No, not for you. And the beautiful blue tongue will find its way into the garden there. And even there you can see how it blends into the scenery. Come on, that's it. Good girl. There she's gone. No, Teddy. No. Come on. Come with me, please. Come away. I'll insert this into this video somewhere. You're probably asking, what about the Redback Spider Gym? It's rather curious what's been going on down here. Going in nice and close. This used to be historically a honeypot for redback spiders. You know what? It looks remarkably clean. I've never seen it like this. It's amazing. Just flicking to the other side. There's not much to see here, and curiously, down here there's a black beetle, but that black beetle's safe because there's no spiders here. Normally that would be a wonderful feast for the redbacks. It's remarkable. I just had some ladies pass by me and said, "Oh, you're the Spider-Man that looks at the spiders here." And I said, "Well, yes I am, but it's very hard to do it when there's no spiders around." Maybe in time the spiders will be back. I certainly miss my gym spiders. The infamous Redback Spider Control Chart. Now, the main thing to understand is Australia is arse about to the bulk of my audience. We're headed into summer when you would be heading into winter. I classify the Redback Spider season to be anywhere between late October going up to early April. I looked around my yard at the end part of October. The H there is Halloween, and I went to the Redback Spider Gym in early November. As you now know, I found 0 redback spiders. Now, this time of year, I'd normally do a burn. The burns are to break up the breeding cycle and the nests of the redback spiders. I do another one in December, another one in February, and another one in April. That is, if it was a redback spider inducive type of summer. Redback spiders revel when it's dry and hot. Now, the last time we had a really hot summer was the summer of 2019/2020 summer. I remember it quite well because there were a lot of really bad bushfires in Australia back then. But since that time, the weather has flipped to being extremely wet and quite cool. In fact, 2022 has seen record rainfall in the part of the world where I live, which is on the east coast of Australia. I spoke about an east coast low back when we had a look at the pipe spider. Now, little did I know that was the first of what was many east coast lows that came along during wintertime and drifted down, delivering a lot of rain to the east coast of Australia. I've got a very, very strong hunch that all this wet weather has caused havoc with the abilities for the redback spiders to set up their nests and breed in big numbers like they can easily do when conditions suit them. It was a little bit eerie and uncomfortable in a way not to find any redback spiders in the backyard or the neighbourhood. I didn't find any of the grey widows or cement spiders as I call them. And it's weird. I actually enjoy finding the redback spiders, finding their nest, seeing the way they're set up. And if I go back to when I first started to look at the redback spiders, I think it was the 2015/2016 summer. I always say 2 years for summer because in Australia the summer is divided by a year change. I know people in the Northern Hemisphere would possibly struggle with that idea, but maybe think of it like your winter. Your winter time would be split by a year change. But anyway, back in 2015/2016 summer was the time when I found all the redback spiders amongst the children's toys in the backyard. Primarily the Tonka trucks, because that was the perfect little home for those nasty little redbacks. And that was the beginning of my quest to understand the redback spiders. I already knew at that time we're always educated in Australia. Look, these are dangerous spiders. Be very careful of these. If you're unlucky, these spiders will kill you. They've got a really nasty venom. You have to be a little bit unlucky to be bitten by one. It's more in a crush scenario. They'll bite you. Not the sort of spider that will flare up and go for you, but you just got to be careful. Like if you put your fingers in the wrong spot under a garden pot or on a children's toy, you will get bitten. And that's one way you can be bitten by these spiders. A lot of people have asked me, Leo, have you been bitten by a redback spider, considering how much I've played with them in making videos? I haven't been bitten by one, but I tell you what, I don't like it when I'm retrieving them and I'm putting them into a vessel and then sometimes one will escape. It happened to me when I was pulling the redback spiders out from underneath our council bins, and I had a plastic vessel and one disappeared. And then when you can't find one, you say to yourself, I hope it's not on me, because these spiders will lay out a little piece of web as they're being moved around. And that's their escape plan, because if you put them into a jar, they'll use that little piece of web they've been spraying out as a way to escape. They're actually fairly clever spiders at escaping what you think is somewhere they can't escape from. I learned that many times fiddling with these spiders. I wouldn't say I'm an expert about redback spiders, but I tell you what, when you look at something and put cameras on something as much as I have with redbacks, you can't help but learn about them, especially when I had the spider tank scenario set up. And I know a lot of people didn't like that because it's fairly unnatural in the way the spider tank was. But you start to see just how dynamic the redback spider is, in particular the female redback spider. And like many spider species, the females seem to get a very different serve of life versus the males. And if you were ever going to come back into the world as a redback spider, just pray that you would be a female redback spider. I think one of the worst things on the planet would be to come back as a male redback spider. It wouldn't be a very nice life, and it's a very short life as well. It's hard to do a redback spider roundup video when there's no redback spiders around. Let me take a look at the black tub here. And it's one I haven't really looked at properly for some time, but who knows what's lurking around there. Okay, the first thing I say is I can't see any web here. Redback spiders are really easy to spot because there's all this distinctive web. Let me pull this tub out. Should have gloves on, shouldn't I? Because I live in Australia. You never know what you're going to find. Okay, well that's no surprise. Snails. It's rather curious what's under this tub, and I'll see if I can find one. All these diggings here are done by mole crickets. You call them devil bugs. They're the strangest looking thing. They look quite nasty, and if I dig here, maybe I'll dig one up. Okay, I think I got one. Okay, that there is a mole cricket. I'm not sure how worse for wear it is. Oh, it's still on the move. Looking a bit strange at the back there. And it's going to try and dig down and get away from me for very good reason. I'll just cover it back up again like a good boy. And it wants to scamper away. Yeah, really strange critters. It's going to talk to the doodle bug, whatever they're called. And for one very last time, I'll get the mucky tool and scrape it under here. I'll guarantee to you, nothing can come out. I can feel it. It feels nice and clean. Clean as a whistle. 0 Spidey. I'm regarding this as the quiet before the storm, because I absolutely guarantee to you the spiders will be back. I absolutely guarantee it. There is an area at our house which has lots of spiders. It's along the ledge where our kitchen is, and it's the black house spiders who live here. They've taken over the toys, and I've let them do what they want to do for a couple of years now. Now, they're not putting up with the hardships of bad weather and all the things that go on out in the garden. In fact, these spiders have almost become like pets. They don't roam too far from where they live. I can see they're prolific breeders. And maybe it's best to look at what's going on here and what these spiders get up to as a totally separate video. Yes, black house spiders. They certainly are good spiders to have around, and wherever the black house spider is, you don't see any redbacks at all. At least the mystery of the yellow patch on the grass is resolved. It was Fluffy. She's the culprit.